Today I'm talking all about video game music, and in particular, my 10 favourite game composers. I've picked an incredible list of 10 of my god tier composers. If you've ever heard of a tier list, then you'll know there's A tier, then there's S tier, but these guys and girls, they're even above the S tier, they're in a league of their own. So let's get straight into it with the first one, and this is a man who goes by the name of Zun, and I'm sure a lot of you know what he's worked on in the past. Yes, he is the composer and game designer for all of the mainline Touhou games. I've got 2 amazing tracks from these games. These are 2 of my personal favourites. One is from Touhou 7 and one is from Touhou 10. Let's begin with the one from Touhou 10, Mountain of Faith. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you can tell from that just the amazing mix of percussion mixed with the trumpet sounds and mixed with just the melodies in the games. They're just fantastic. And I'm going to share one more song that he's done. So for each of these composers, I'm going to share 2 songs, apart from one, which I'm going to share 3 of. So look forward to that one. But for now, let's get into the second song that I've chosen. And this one is from Stage 2 of Touhou 7. Enjoy. That is a song that I've heard a lot because those games are incredibly difficult, but they're also incredibly fun and rewarding too, and just mixed with the incredible soundtracks, it's just such a good game series, and I would love to do a full video on it in the future as well. And now we're moving on to the second composer, and this is a lot more of a recent one. This is Hydelic, and they actually formed just before the release of Tetris Effect a few years ago, and they composed the game's soundtrack, and it's got such an incredible range of different genres. I love all of the vocal tracks in that game. I also love all of the ambient ones. So for the 2 songs that I've chosen here, I've picked one of the vocal tracks, one that actually made me cry the first time I heard it, if I'm completely honest, and you would not expect that from a Tetris game at all. So they did an incredible job with the atmosphere of this game overall. And then the second one is a bit more energetic. So let me play the first one for you now. This one is called So They Say.
From my view, I can see you. Can you see me too? 'Cause we are one, we're just some in this universe, all around the earth. In all the galaxies, how many are we? Anyway, so they say.
just hearing that has made me want to put my VR headset on and play all the way through Tetris Effect again. It's such an emotional game in all the right ways, and I had to take the headset off a few times because I was just in tears. And this one did not bring me to tears. This one is very different, and it goes to show the incredible range of talent that Hydelic has. And when you listen to this one, picture two giant balls, one of fire and one of water, just colliding with each other in the background as you're watching these Tetris blocks fly around the screen, and you've got all the sparks flying right at you. So without further ado, here's Yin and Yang.
Go! Here's how it was!
There you go. And it was kind of difficult to pick the music for the Tetris Effect section here, because in the game, the music and the sound effects actually connect together, and it changes depending on how well you're doing in the game and what kind of lines you've made. So listening to these now isn't exactly how you would hear them in the game, but hopefully that got the point across at least. And now we're changing theme completely, and this is one of my favourite composers and singer-songwriters as well. And I've known her for many years now. In fact, I also helped test her game, Rakuen, which is coming out on the Switch, and that might have given it away. This is Laura Shigihara, and she's done a lot of game compositions, but she's also done a lot of vocal work as well. So I'm going to play one of the vocal tracks from her game, Rakuen. Well, it wasn't exactly from the game. This was more the song that she made that gave her inspiration for it, or at least one of them. The other one is Jump, and you should definitely go and listen to that one after. But this one is called Search in My Life, and I'm trying to keep these to just 1 minute segments as well, so definitely go and listen to the full version after this, because there is a lot more to it as well.
And we walk and we run in the stars and in the sun. If I wake before I sleep, would you hold me up? Would you give me something to believe? Oh, I'm gonna do what it takes. All of my days I'm believing that there's so much more that we are living for. Falling down and getting up.
So I really hope you enjoyed that. I just love her really soothing voice and just the laid-back atmosphere of all of her songs. And talking about laid back, this game is the complete opposite of laid back. This is a song that she composed for Super Meat Boy when it got re-released in 2013 or 14, I believe. So not the original version. These were the new tracks that were put into the more modern version of the game. This one is called Cotton Candy. And I picked that song because I think that exemplifies more than anything else just her very particular style and the very particular instruments that she uses. And I just love that composition. And it makes the infuriating gameplay a little more bearable too. Now, next up is a very famous Japanese composer who's composed for many, many of Japan's best games, including the Tales series, the Dark Souls series, and many others. But the game that I personally believe that his best music came from is Eternal Sonata. So I've got two different songs from that game. I've got one of the songs, which is the battle theme, which I'll play first. And then the second one is one from a very touching cutscene that still sticks in my head like 12, 13 years after I first played it. So let's begin first with the battle theme, which is called Leap the Precipice. Here we go. So there you go, that is a battle theme. That plays in every normal encounter, and I actually didn't want the fights to end because that song is so good, and it goes even further than what you just heard in this little bit here. Anyway, the second song I'm playing is called Proxene of the Heart, and this is a song that stuck with me through many, many, many years. I won't give any spoilers, but it is a very prominent point in the game that did also bring me to tears. I think you'll be hearing that quite a lot because a lot of these songs really bring back some strong emotions. So I'm going to let you listen now to just a tiny snippet of Proxene of the Heart, but definitely check out the full thing later. Here we go. And now after that, I think we need to bring things back down a notch again to the happy, jolly music of David Wise. Of course, in my opinion, Rare's best composer. Some may say Grant Kirkhope, but honestly, David Wise's songs stick in my head in particular. And of course, his most famous song is Sycabrush Symphony from Donkey Kong Country 2, but there is a song from that game that I think is even better. This one is called Mining Melancholy. So I'm sure you can tell that he has a really unique style where he actually blends the sound of the environment into the song itself. And I think that game really shows that off very well. And of course, he also worked on the newest Donkey Kong Country game as well, Tropical Freeze. Such an incredible composer. Also, definitely check out his work on Diddy Kong Racing, which I think are some of the catchiest tunes in all of video games. And now next, going back to the JRPG theme, I just love JRPG music. This is Yasunori Mitsuda, of course very well known for his soundtrack on Chrono Trigger, and of course Chrono Cross as well. He's also done some music for Xenogears and Xenoblade, among many other games, and the two that I've chosen for this, one is a song from Chrono Cross, and not the song you might be thinking, but the one that gets across the style of that soundtrack the best in my opinion. And then the second one is a very special song from Xenoblade 1. Let's begin with Chrono Cross first, and this song is called Voyage Another World. And I honestly think that Chrono Cross has quite possibly, apart from maybe Donkey Kong Country 2, maybe they're tied, I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that Chrono Cross is easily one of the best game soundtracks of all time. It's definitely one of the most consistent, and just every song has such a good melody, and it sounds so good. And I didn't even think that Mitsuda could top his work in Chrono Trigger, but when I first played Chrono Cross, I was just blown away by the quality of the soundtrack. And now is a very special song from Xenoblade 1. No spoilers, but this does play at the end of the game, but I don't think you can pick anything up from this. Just enjoy this incredible piece of music. He did also do some songs for Xenoblade 2 as well, and he's coming back for the third game, so I can't wait to hear what he's done for that one. Anyway, without further ado, here's his track from Xenoblade 1. It's called Beyond the Sky.
This emptiness
And now this next composer is another Yasunori. This time it's Yasunori Shiono, and he hasn't actually made that many game soundtracks, and the last one he actually did that wasn't a remix was back in 2003, but he did actually compose the soundtrack to a game that I think has a better soundtrack than Chrono Trigger, and that is very high praise, and that game is Lufia 2. And I wanted to highlight the battle themes, but there's actually 3 of them, so what I'm going to do is play all 3 of them back to back, so I won't talk between these, it's just going to play from one to the other. Enjoy. I actually read an interview with him the other day over on smopulations.com, so I'll link that down below and you can read a little bit about how he came up with some of the compositions for this game. It's a really interesting read, so I definitely recommend you go and check it out. And now taking things up a notch, this is Jun Senoue, the composer for the Sonic games. And I've picked two of the later games in the series. I've picked one from Sonic Heroes and one from Sonic Adventure 2. And although I know a lot of people don't like Sonic Heroes as a game, at least we can all agree that it has an incredible soundtrack. So the first song that I'm going to play of his is the one that plays in Grand Metropolis. I just love that song playing when you're rushing through that futuristic city, apart from Tails screaming the whole time, but you can try and block him out and enjoy the music. Now the next one is from Sonic Adventure 2, and this is the song that plays on Mission Street. This is one of Tails' missions, when once again you're running through a futuristic city. This time you're blowing up the police and stomping down the street in the giant mech suit, and I really love most of Tails' themes, but this is the one that always sticks in my mind. Here we go. And that just goes to show, even if the Sonic game isn't amazing, it will always have amazing music. At least up until today. Let's hope that Sonic Frontiers has a good soundtrack too, although I don't think John's actually involved in that one. And now next, we're going to America now for a guy called Toby Fox. Of course, he was most well known originally for his work on Homestuck, and then of course he struck it big with Undertale. So I've got one track from Undertale, and I've also got a track from his follow-up game, Deltarune. So let's begin with the one from Deltarune, and I think this was the song that got me really excited to play a sequel to Undertale. And the song itself is called Field of Hope and Dreams. And now for the song from Undertale. No, this is not Megalovania. This is Asgore's theme, and I really loved the fight, and I really loved the song that went along with it. Enjoy. such an iconic theme that one is, and I really loved it when I saw the live orchestra play it as well. So you can actually watch the live orchestra version of the Undertale soundtrack over on YouTube. Definitely go and check it out because the whole game has an amazing soundtrack, and that is definitely one of the highlights for me. And now the final person, of course, saving the best till last. This is Yuzo Koshiro, an incredibly talented game composer. He works in an incredible wide range of genres. Of course, he's probably most famous for his work on Streets of Rage. He also worked on the Ys games as well, which of course have incredible music. The first one is from Actraiser, which of course was made by Quintet, my favourite game developer. So mix my favourite composer with my favourite developer and you have a match made in heaven. And then the second one is from Etrian Odyssey 3. So let's begin with Actraiser, and I'm actually going to play the original SNES version and then the remixed version that he did for the remake that came out last year as well, and you can kind of compare the two. So this is from the first level, Fillmore. Enjoy. And now for the final song that I'm going to share with you all. This is an incredible piece of music from Etrian Odyssey 3, and this, I believe, is his best piece of music to date. So this is called The End of the Raging Waves, and I'm going to let this one play for a little bit longer because I really, really love this one. So there we go. I really hope you enjoyed that song, and I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. It was a little bit different to normal, so hopefully I made a good DJ host for you all. Hopefully you enjoyed my picks and my favourite composers. Let me know either in the audio responses to the podcast by clicking the link down below, or let me know over on Twitter or Discord, there'll also be links for them below as well, what your favourite game composers are and what some of your favourite game music is in general. And if you enjoyed this style of podcast, then I would love to do more of them in the future. I'm a big fan of game soundtracks and I've got loads that I want to share. So thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.